While Mendeecees is still very much with Yandande Smith, Erica Mena, known for her fiery personality and no-holds-barred attitude, just dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. She's pregnant, and she's allegedly claiming that Menz Harris might be the father. Yes, you heard that right. Erica's bold statement has sent shockwaves through the fan base. How did this happen? When did it happen? And most importantly, is there any truth to it? At the heart of it all is a shocking claim that has left the entire love and hip-hop community in disbelieving. According to people close to the matter, things began to go south after a recent Love and Hip Hop shoot in which Erica and Mendic were seen having multiple off-camera conversations. Yandande allegedly didn't know anything was going on until now. Okay? Emotions are running high, accusations are flying, and fans are demanding answers. Is this just another attention-grabbing stunt, or is there more to the story than anyone anticipated? Stay tuned, because what happens next will leave you speechless. The city was a flurry of rumors the morning after Erica's post, with news outlets, fan pages, and podcasts all focused on escalating controversy. One blogger said they saw Erica leaving a clinic with what appeared to be the paperwork in her purse, while another swore they heard her say on the phone, "I already know what the results are, but I want him to say it." Whether these claims were true or not, they added to the chaos, leaving fans glued to their screens, waiting for any confirmation. Then came the leak that would rock everything to its foundation. A digital copy of what appeared to be a prenatal test started making the rounds online, with the alleged mother and father blurred out. In the meantime, Mendeecees was seen leaving a restaurant in Atlanta with his manager. When asked about the dinner results, he simply shook his head and muttered, "No comment." The drama reached an all-time high as Erica remained silent and her followers bombarded her with comments demanding answers. "Is it true? Well, why aren't you saying anything? This changes everything," one of them said, but his face conveyed a different message. He was exhausted, stressed, and obviously under pressure. Fans started interpreting every little detail of his body language, including his avoidance of eye contact and his clenched jaw, as a sign of guilt. The silence was no longer working in his favor, and Yandande, on the other hand, was collapsing behind the scenes. Insiders close to her claimed that she had been crying for days, hardly eating, and refusing to leave her house. Friends attempted to console her, but she was not talking to anyone. According to fans, Yandande said with confidence, "I don't know what's worse, the betrayal or the humiliation." Seeing her in such a state of brokenness was heartbreaking. Supporters showered her page with love and encouragement, but even that couldn't protect her from the storm. Then, in the most unexpected turn of events, Erica agreed to do an exclusive interview with a well-known podcast. The teaser clip went viral before the full episode even aired. When the episode finally aired, fans were eagerly awaiting Erica's revelation that she and Mendeecees had been close during a difficult time in his marriage. She claimed that it began innocently as simple conversations about bonding over stress, but eventually things crossed the line. "I'm not proud of it," she said, wiping away a tear. Erica was sitting in a dimly lit room wearing a hoodie and hardly wearing makeup. Her voice trembled as she said, "I didn't want it to come to this, but I won't be even." The host seemed taken aback when Erica continued to explain that she had reached out to Mendes privately in the hopes of handling things quietly. But when he began ignoring her messages and acting as though nothing had happened, she felt compelled to speak up. "I kept hoping he would do the right thing, but instead he tried to make me feel like I was crazy, as if I had imagined it all. I knew it was wrong when it happened, and I never expected to get pregnant. But once I did, I had to lie to everyone, or face the truth, and I chose the truth." The room fell silent. Menk posted a lengthy text message on his story saying, "People will say anything when they feel hurt. I've made mistakes, but I've never turned my back on my responsibilities. My silence wasn't guilt, it was protection for my family." The revelation sent shockwaves through the internet, leaving fans in shock. Many praised her courage, while others questioned the timing and motives. The overwhelming feeling was disbelief. This wasn't just tabloid gossip anymore. The same night, Yandandi went live. Her face was pale, her energy low, but her voice was steady. "But honestly, I don't have them. I've been blindsided like the rest of you," she started, pausing to take a deep breath. "I love my husband. I believe in our family. And now I'm just trying to figure out what's real." Mistakes, was he referring to? Fans broke down every line trying to decode the truth. But nothing. Gandandi continued. "If this child is his, we'll deal with it, but I won't let lies destroy me. I need the truth, not stories, not blogs, not speculation, facts." A few hours later, another video appeared, this time of Mendeecees and Erica during a behind-the-scenes moment from a previous shoot. They were laughing, standing close, and looking way too comfortable. Fans who had previously rejected the idea of them having a connection suddenly had second thoughts after seeing the body language in the video. The clip, which was dated just a few months before Erica announced her pregnancy, changed everything. Just when everyone thought things couldn't get any messier. A woman who claimed to be Mendeecees' ex from years ago entered the chat room. She posted a mysterious video on TikTok that said, "History repeats itself when lessons aren't learned." She didn't name anyone, but everyone assumed she was referring to Mendeecees. The comment section was rocked by theories, with some fans even speculating that Erica wasn't the first to encounter this type of situation with him. The story started to change. Was Mendeecees hiding more than one secret? Erica posted another message. After seeing the chaos, she wasn't going to wait around for Mendeecees to take responsibility. As evidenced by the time a photo of a cot being built with the caption, "Getting ready regardless of who steps up," was posted. Fans praised her strength, while others questioned her methods. But one thing was certain, she wasn't backing down. As the drama intensified, rumors circulated that an emergency taping was being scheduled with all three involved. Insiders claimed that Erica agreed right away, while Mendeecees was hesitant in the idea of all three of them being in the same room. Facing the truth on camera was almost too much for fans to handle. The countdown to the confrontation had begun, and the internet was preparing for impact. As the taping drew near, Erica shared another story, this time a sonogram picture with a voice note playing over it. It was a baby's heartbeat. "Every beat reminds me why I'm speaking up," she wrote. The message hit hard. Whether they supported Erica Yandandi or not, fans were now emotionally invested. The day of the sit-down taping finally came, and the tension was so intense that it could have been cut with a knife. The set was dimly lit, with just enough glow to capture the expressions on everyone's faces. Cameras were rolling, producers were on edge, and the atmosphere backstage was like a pressure cooker ready to explode. Erica arrived first, wearing a simple black outfit, her belly showing just enough to remind everyone what this was all about. She appeared calm on the outside, but anyone paying close attention could have seen that, observe how her hands trembled a little as she gripped her phone. 10 minutes later, Mendeecees arrived, looking more anxious than anyone had ever seen him. He kept checking his watch, pacing and rubbing his forehead. The producers tried to calm him down, but he refused to listen. "Didn't sign up for this circus?" he muttered to himself, knowing that leaving would only make things worse. The final person to arrive was Yandandi, who entered the room without saying a word and wore all white as if she were attending a funeral. Perhaps in a way she was regretting the relationship she had been in. There was no moderator, just 3 chairs, and the brutal weight of unresolved tension filled the room until finally Erica broke it. Her voice was firm, but her eyes betrayed her vulnerability. Men cleared his throat, and Yandandi scoffed. "I don't even know where to start." Perhaps Erica leaned forward, and "I already told my side that I'm not here to argue. I'm here because of my child. I never said the baby wasn't mine." I said that the situation is messy and that you went public before we even had a chance to deal with it privately. Erica cut in sharply. No, you ignored me. I tried to reach out. I tried to keep it between us. You ghosted me like I was some groupie, so I did what I had to do. Jan Dundee folded her arms and posted this on social media. It's what you had to do. What you had to do. I know how this looks, but put yourself in my position. I'm pregnant, I'm afraid, and the man who might be the father is acting as though I don't exist. Yandy's eyes were watering, but she blinked them away before they could fall. I've been in worse situations, and believe me, betrayal doesn't come with a manual. Yet you made a decision too. Mendeecees finally spoke in a tight voice. I made mistakes, and I'm not proud of them, but I didn't ask for all this noise. I wanted time to sort. Things out the room fell silent for a moment until Jan Dundee whispered almost to herself. Was it ever real? Mendeecees looked at her eyes softeningly. What we had was real. This, I don't even know what this is. Erica laughed bitterly. You're a reality star, Mendeecees. He said, your whole life is a show. As the sit-down went on, Erica took out a small folder from her bag and said, these are the official nails, handing them over. Menks hesitated, then took the papers and started reading. The silence lasted for what seemed like minutes. The producers watching from the monitor knew they had struck gold. The raw emotion, the confrontation, the heartbreak, all of it was happening in real time. And the cameras were capturing every second. Fans watching the leaked preview clips were going crazy. Everyone had chosen a side, and the internet was ablaze with debates, and he was being pulled by both sides. The room felt like it had split in two. So what now? Erica asked, you still planning to disappear? Mendeecees rubbed his temples. I'm not going anywhere. I'll take responsibility, but this changes everything. It's mine, he said simply. Jan Dundee closed her eyes and exhaled sharply. Erica didn't flinch. Jan Dundee had known the truth. Jan Dundee got up and paced a little. Damn, right? It does. You had one job, to be honest, and you couldn't even do that. I've held you down through prison drama, everything, and this is how you repay me. Her voice cracked, and at last a tear fell down her cheek. I was fighting for us while you were sneaking around, and Erica turned away, giving Jan Dundee her moment. I'm not asking you to forgive me, she said softly, but don't blame me for the choices he made. Manx stood up, trying to speak, but the words wouldn't come. Yandi turned to him, shaking her head, saying, I'm done talking. I'm finished fighting. You two figure out whatever mess you made. I need time. With that, she left the set, leaving an eerie silence. The producers called for a break, but the damage had already been done. Outside the studio, Yami's car was surrounded by paparazzi, and she kept her head down. One reporter managed to ask, "Are you leaving him?" But she didn't have to respond. Her silence spoke louder than any words. Meanwhile, inside, Erica sat by herself in her chair, staring at the empty space where Yandi had been. Menace, finally, said, "This isn't what I wanted Erica to look at. I'm tired, but it's what you made." The episode aired 2 days later, and the response was explosive. Millions of people watched, and the comments section was a battleground. Some praised Erica for her bravery, while others slammed her for going public. Jan Dundee received an outpouring of love and support, with one comment that read, "Can't spell VCs without mess." In the days that followed, Erica posted multiple updates showing her preparing the baby's nursery and sharing her journey without naming names. Jan Dundee, meanwhile, went quiet. No posts, no stories, just silence. Fans wondered if she had moved out, filed for separation, or was simply trying to heal. Another featured Yandi in a crown with the words "Unbothered Royalty." Endorsements were being pulled, brand deals were put on hold. And insiders whispered that Veil One was thinking of re-editing upcoming episodes to take into account the fallout. Friends of the couple started speaking out anonymously after he posted a video of himself at a church with the caption, "Trying to find peace." One insider said Yandhi was blindsided. She knew things weren't perfect, but she never saw it coming. The world remained on edge, waiting to see what would happen next, and then another bombshell was dropped. Someone posing as Erica's cousin went live on Instagram, sharing screenshots of alleged old messages between Mem and Erica. In them, he calls her beautiful, tells her that he can't stop thinking about that night, and even says, "I wish things were different." Whether the screenshots were real or not, it didn't matter. The damage was done. One thing became painfully clear as the dust settled from the interview: test and emotional confrontation. Nothing would ever be the same again. The baby wasn't even born yet, and already the world had drawn battle lines, picked sides, and turned a private scandal into public entertainment. But behind the gossip and the memes, the truth was coming to light, and the story wasn't over by a long shot. Mendeecees sat by himself in his car for almost an hour after the taping, his phone buzzing constantly with notifications, calls from producers, texts from unidentified numbers, and social media mentions pouring in by piece, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. He read through the comments, each one hitting harder than the last. "You ruined everything. How could you do that to Yandhi, another baby SM?" He closed the app, threw his phone onto the passenger seat, and just stared at the steering wheel, frozen in shock. Meanwhile, Yandhi had gone to a close friend's house, avoiding calls from everyone, including family. She needed space, quiet, and a chance to breathe. The hurt was more than betrayal. It was humiliation. He had supported him through all of this, the prison rumors, and public scrutiny. Erica spent the next 2 days in hiding, not responding to producers and not checking her messages. Her children were with her, and they were the only reason she hadn't lost control. She smiled for them, played with them, and made them feel safe. But behind closed doors, she broke down repeatedly. While some fans praised her for speaking her truth, many others were pulling her through the muck. She received messages like homewrecker, attention seeker, and worse. Strangers showed up at her job, called her family, and her address was leaked online, more than she ever imagined. And despite her best efforts to maintain a brave front, the toe was beginning to show. She hadn't even given birth yet, and already the child was the focus of a media storm. V1's producers, realizing how big the story had become, started pushing for a full episode about the fallout. Behind-the-scenes footage, confessionals, leaked audio, and everything else was being compiled. They even thought about doing a live reunion special to ride the drama. But there was a significant issue: Yandhi wasn't responding. And without her, the story had no finish. Mona Scott herself left a voicemail saying, "You don't have to say anything you're not ready to say, but the fans need to hear from you, even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's just to close the chapter." Yandhi listened to the message and deleted it without responding that she wasn't ready, not yet, not when every move she made would be scrutinized by millions of people. Not when she was still trying to determine whether her relationship had ever been real. Back in the city, Men's tried reaching. He apologized and begged Yandhi for another chance, explaining how scared and overwhelmed he had been. He promised to take responsibility for the baby and be there for Erica, but he never crossed the line. Again, he told Yandhi that she was his world and that what they had couldn't be erased. But the messages were left unread. He tried calling straight to voicemail. And he even showed up outside her friend's house once, but the door never opened. She needed time, and he had to respect that. She told them in a heated phone call, "You made this mess. You wanted to live like a king, juggling 2 lives, and now that it's all blowing up, you're acting surprised. No, you don't get to play. Confused now." When the call ended, Erica blocked his number. She didn't care about the cameras, the show, or the headlines. She was publicly angry that he was suddenly trying to act like the victim, and that she had to bear the burden of public shame. While he was able to hide behind evasive apologies, In order to protect her peace and her child, she knew that everything would change once the baby was born. She also didn't want the same man who had abandoned her during her pregnancy to enter her life and act like a hero unless he earned it. As the days went by, new rumors began to circulate. Some said Mendeecees had been seen with an unidentified woman at an Atlanta lounge. Others said Yandandi had moved into a new apartment and was already meeting with a divorce lawyer. Even Erica's name was everything, and this plot was getting out of control. A few producers suggested that they film scenes separately, with all three of them attempting to piece the story together without having to be in the same room. Menk agreed. Erica reluctantly said yes, and Yandandi didn't reply. But just when everyone thought she was done for good, she posted a single black screen on her Instagram story with the words, "Sometimes silence is strength, but I'll speak soon." The internet went crazy, and blogs reposted it in a matter of minutes. Fans even left supportive and curious comments on the official They1 page. Reshared it with the caption, "We're listening, Queen." A week later, she arrived at the studio without any cameras or announcements, just her and her team walking in. She asked for a private, unfiltered confessional with no producers or audience, just her and the camera. They agreed right away, so she sat down, took a deep breath, and began talking. Her voice was low, calm, and firm, and she didn't hold back. She talked about the betrayal, the pain, the restless nights, and how exhausted she was from fighting for, she said. "But I'm not bitter, I'm not angry anymore, I'm just done." The confessional concluded with her assurance that she would always act in her children's best interests, which at the moment meant as the story progressed from scandal to strength. Erica remained silent throughout that week, posting no new content or statements. She was focused on surviving the last few weeks of her pregnancy, determined not to let the noise distract her. Menk watched Yandi's confessional alone in his apartment, and he didn't say a word, just stared at the screen with tears in his eyes. The public might eventually forgive him, and the network might spin it into redemption. But deep down, he knew he had lost the one thing he thought he could always rely on. As the city was ablaze with reaction videos, pink pieces, and trending hashtags, the three of them found themselves on different paths, connected by scandal but separated by pain. The baby would be born into chaos, but perhaps also into clarity. Days, it became weeks, and even though the media frenzy had begun to slow down, the real-life repercussions were only getting worse. Yandi had officially moved out of the shared house, choosing a smaller, more private space in a gated community where paparazzi couldn't easily reach her. She kept her circle close, limiting who could visit and who knew her location. For the first time in years, she was making her own decisions without hesitation. The show offers interview requests, and brand deals kept coming in, but she turned down the majority of them. Her focus was on healing, not making headlines. While Mendeecees found himself falling into a downward spiral, with Yandandi gone and Erica silent. He was left to deal with his thoughts and the guilt. He tried to immerse himself in his work, attending meetings and acting as though he still had control, but his mind was always wandering. He missed his kids, the warmth of family dinners, and the way Yandi used to check in on him with a simple glance. But even though he knew he was to blame, he still didn't understand how it all fell apart so quickly. Erica was nearing the end of her pregnancy. And although when the baby finally arrived, a healthy baby girl with a full head of hair, Erica felt a mixture of joy and dread. She held her daughter close and sobbed silently, not from pain, but from everything she'd been carrying inside. But even in those moments of peace, there was a lingering weight. Her baby shower had been canceled because of all the chaos, but a few of her friends still came over to throw her a quiet, private celebration. No cameras, no drama, just love. He immediately replied, "I want to see the baby and offer to come to the hospital," but Erica said no. "Not right now," she wrote. "She deserves peace. I deserve peace. We'll figure out the rest later." He didn't push. for once, and he listened. A day later, the news of the birth was leaked because a nurse recognized Erica and told a local blogger. Headlines exploded once more. Mendeecees' new daughter arrives amid family chaos. Erica gives birth. Yandy silent on social media. The timing couldn't have been worse. Yandandi had just begun to open up again, trying to move forward slowly, and now she didn't respond to the news publicly. However, close sources have stated that she broke down when she saw the baby's photo online, not because she was jealous, but because it made everything so final. One producer reached out again, now hoping for a special episode documenting the baby's arrival in the next chapter of the story. Erica declined outright. Yandandi didn't even agree to appear for a solo shoot where he discussed becoming a father again, wanting to do things right this time and learning from his mistakes. The segment was emotional but also full of contradictions. He talked about growth, but online comments quickly pointed out that he hadn't done much to prove it was just words again. The network started to change course, seeing a chance to shift the narrative towards co-parenting and redemption, painting Men as a man attempting to put his family back together. They even floated the idea of a therapy-centered spin-off. But Yandandi didn't want to be involved. She wanted her children to grow up away from the chaos, and she didn't want healing to become a spectacle. Despite this, she was unable to completely leave the show. Fans followed her everywhere she went, both online and offline. Every time she went out, her phones rang and comments flooded in. Some pleaded with her to forgive him, while others applauded her for leaving, but it all kept pulling her back into a story she was trying to put an end to. Her children began to ask why they were being discussed, and she did her best to keep them safe. But it was obvious that the damage had spread beyond her and Mendeecees. After the baby was born, Mendeecees attempted to get in touch with everyone once more, sent gifts, flowers, and voice notes. He even wrote a letter that was delivered to Yandy's new home in which he admitted everything. However, he asked for one thing: "Let me show you that I can be better, not for us or our children." Yandandi read the letter by herself in her room, crying again, but this time not out of pain but rather from exhaustion. Weeks went by, the media buzz slowed. A new scandal took over the headlines and fans moved on, but quietly. Though the three of them were still coping with the fallout, Erica concentrated on raising her daughter in peace, avoiding the spotlight. She thought about moving out of state and starting over somewhere no one knew her name. Yandandi went back to her nonprofit work, helping young girls find their voice, which felt more personal than ever. Men began going to therapy. There were only a few shifts over time, and Yandandi let men see the kids, but only under supervision. Erica let him see the baby once, but she made it clear that she was in. They were no longer friends or enemies. They were just three people bound by broken trust and a baby girl who didn't ask for any of this. Slowly, without anyone noticing, the noise started to fade. Then suddenly, the announcement was made for a surprise reunion episode. One night, the promo featured clips of old memories, tears, laughter, and even a few shots from the recent confessional tapes. Fans were excited, and everyone wondered if all three would show up. Would Yandy finally face Mendeecees face-to-face? Would Erica tell the truth on camera again? When the reunion finally arrived, the studio was packed. Security was tight. Cameras were rolling from every direction, and Mendeecees entered first in a plain black hoodie, looking calm but nervous. Erica then held her daughter while a small group of friends surrounded her. And just when everyone thought she wouldn't be coming, Yandy took the stage. The room fell silent, and she sat down, looked around, and said, "I'm here." She did this for closure, not for drama or ratings. And the story was no longer about betrayal, because sometimes the loudest endings are the ones that occur in silence. And sometimes closure doesn't look like forgiveness, but rather like walking away stronger than before. The silence that followed the reunion and the lights went down said more than any script could. The journey from denial to confrontation, from heartbreak to hard truths, had been a long, messy an unforgettable one for the fans who have followed. There were conflicting feelings after every round. Some people felt satisfied, while others desired more. However, one thing was for sure. This was a genuine love story and hip-hop drama.